Good evening. My name is Kate Callery, and my thesis is titled The Acceleration of the Fashion Trend Cycle Through Social Media. I would like to thank my advisors, Professors Amy Bernard and Amy Beatty, for your continued support throughout this thesis process. So fast fashion has really changed the fashion landscape with its coming into prevalence as of recent years. So when I use the term fast fashion, it's really easy to compare it to fast food. When you think of fast food, you probably think of easy, convenient, and available at a lower price point than the slower alternatives. So fast fashion is going to be pretty similar. It's quickly produced, it's mass produced, it's conveniently located, and it's available at a lower price point to the average consumer. So the discussion around fast fashion up to this point has usually been about ethical consumption, how we're making things, the sustainability of resources, the environmental impacts. There's a whole world of things associated with it, how quickly it has come into relevance. This thesis is looking less at its effect on our society and more how fast fashion was able to be diffused into our society. Social media has had a huge role in recent years and has jumped way into prevalence and has brought with it all of these fashion trends and has changed how any innovation has been brought into our society. To do this, I looked at 4 different fashion trends divided up into a couple different groups. So I did a really deep dive into some short-term and long-term fashion trends. A short-term fashion trend is going to be what you think of as a fad or something that's in one day, out the next. It's here for a couple months to a year, and it can be something really specific, a really specific item, a really specific color, an accessory, a dress. A long-term trend is going to be a little bit more overarching. It's going to encompass maybe the shape of something or something that can be performed a bunch of different ways. So I took 2 short-term trends, one from before social media's relevance and one from after, and 2 long-term trends, one from social media's prevalence and one from after, and tracked them both through Rogers' diffusion of innovation curve. I took how long it took for them to get from the first stage of the diffusion of innovations curve to the last stage. So that's innovators to laggards. Who was the first people to do it and when did they do it? And who were the last people to catch on and when were they catching on? So I compared these timelines to see how social media was affecting this change. I was able to conclude that the cycle is definitely moving faster, which we can see just in how quickly things are coming in and out of style. For long-term trends, we see things moving 5 to 10 years faster. The long-term fashion trend that I chose to analyze was the cut of women's jeans. I looked from the 60s and 70s flare jeans into the transition of the more tapered jeans we saw in the 1980s, and I looked at, in the 2010s, the skinny jeans into the more baggier style that we're seeing come into fashion today. So that change came at about 10 to 15 years faster than we saw it in previous years. And for a short-term trend, I looked at the use of 80s neon, and I looked at sage green in the 2020s and how quickly those moved. And that moved a staggering 3 to 5 years faster than we've seen it move before. Social media has changed the method in which things are diffused because it's not the same. They used to say that for something to get to New York to the middle of the country, it takes forever. Well, now, it used to be when something was made in New York, you'd wait for magazines, newspapers, articles, celebrities for it to get someone in Oklahoma like me. Now, maybe I'm in Oklahoma, I see a TikTok that was posted 30 seconds ago by someone in New York who's wearing a piece of clothing that I like, and I can get it in about 2 days. So social media has definitely changed how we view this. Some strengths of the study are that it's very foundational. This is a new topic. A lot of the research around this has been on the effects and not the how. So this is more looking at the how. Some weaknesses are that when you're looking at trends, it's trendy research by nature. I fully expect that some of the social media sites that I'm referencing in this thesis to be irrelevant in a couple of years, but the foundations are there. And another area of future study would be to look at more trends. There's a lot of niche groups that we're seeing develop with the onset of social media as well. So diving into those niches, diving into different age groups, men's fashion, women's fashion, there's a billion different ways that you can take this, and it's really exciting to look at. So thank you.